So I was saying, so شما بعد بیاین نیویورک دیدن من یکم بیشتر.
دل تنگ شد برای ما.
خیلی. برای دلم همینطور. آره برای همه باز خب اونجا.
آره دیگه.
سرم شلوغ کار
کی میتونی دیگه هر روز دعوا کنی؟ من دیگه مگه میشه؟
I know that. ولی خب.
Hi, I'm Asal. I'm the third, the little one in the family. And to talk about my dad, to talk about personal stuff regarding my father, it's weird. I, as a person, am an open book. Anybody who knows me knows almost everything about me. But the only thing in my life that I am very protective over is my dad. And it's very weird. I can't explain it. I can't understand it. I have this protective nature about him for me. He's just in a very special place in my heart. So the one thing I do when I do think about my dad as an entertainer, I think he is the best representation of how a person should be in that field. Why? Because my father has never trampled or walked on top of anybody to get to the position that he's at today. He never did. And believe you me, that has happened to him all too often. And it never jaded his soul. It never affected his spirit. He just kept going on.
It's an amazing feeling to have such an amazing dad. But at the end of the day, he's my dad, and that's the way I see him. Kind, caring, loving. He's daddy forever.
A person like me as his daughter, I look to him as something to mimic, because I want to be as success as what I'm at, whatever that is. You know, everything changes so often. But I want to be a success, and he's a good representation of that because he did it all with a lot of hard work. You know, it's funny, my sisters, we all have different views of my dad.
پدر من خب شغلش خواننده است ولی خب خودش هم یه انسانه، یه آدمه و همون خواننده‌ای که روی سن می‌بینین پدر منم همون شخص رو داره بیرون از سن، بیرون از کارش. خیلی آدم مهربونی هستش، خیلی مردم رو دوست داره، خیلی طرفداراش رو دوست داره و همچنین بچه‌هاش و خانومش و خانواده‌اش و دوستاش رو هم خیلی دوست داره. خیلی مهربونه و خوشخنده و خیلی آدم کولی هستش. من الان چند ساله که رفتم نیویورک و اینجا نیستم و پدرم رو کمتر میبینم.
It's difficult to put in words, you know. I always see my dad singing as sort of his job. I can appreciate it, but I always kind of see it as his job. And when I see my dad, I really just see my father. I see Ebby, the dad to my sisters. I see Ebby, you know, just sitting around watching TV, watching movies together. As a child, we would play a lot of singing games. Music was always a big part of our lives growing up. We would play Name That Tune, where my father would play a tune on his leg or on the table, and we would smack down, I got it, and name the tune.
My view of my dad is I love and I hate that he's a singer. I hate it because I don't get to see him that often. I have more of a phone call relationship with him. I want to hang out with my dad. He's fun. He's funny. He's such a great person to want to hang out with. But I've always had that love-hate with this singing thing because it's as a child, you know, you want your daddy around, and so there were sacrifices I feel that he had to make to be the success and to be where he's at today.
سالی 3-4 بار میبینم. اگه بتونم باشون مسافرت میرم سر برنامهش و الان که خب یکم سنم بالا رفته احساس هم خب پدری دارم ولی خب هم رفیق منه، دوست منه. دوست دارم که باش برم بیرون، برم شام، برم درینک بخورم، با همدیگه بگیم، بخندیم، از زندگی تعریف کنیم و خیلی ریلیشنشیپ صمیمی داریم با همدیگه، هم من و پدرم و هم خواهرام با پدرم. و خیلی مهمه برامون که نزدیک باشیم به همدیگه، با همدیگه دوست باشیم، درد دل بکنیم. و به خاطر این من وقتی که برنامه بابام میرم، وقتی که برنامه اجرا میکنه، کنسرت میذاره، خیلی خب proud هستم. It's very important to me که برنامهش خوب باشه و مردم دوست داشته باشن پدرم و از صداش خوششون بیاد، از برنامهش خوششون بیاد.
When I go to his concerts, I'm always very nervous. I want the concert to do well. I want him to do well. Obviously, he never disappoints, but sitting in my chair right before he's about to go on, the music starts to play, my heart starts to race, and then out comes my father, and I could never be any more prouder at that moment than when he first comes on stage and all his fans are screaming for him, and I look around and it's young people, old people, everybody of all ages, and they just adore him, and it's a very proud and caring moment for me.
The very first time my dad left to Europe to go for his first almost European tour, he went with a couple of other singers, Dawood Behboudi. I think he went with one of our, he's like an uncle to us, Abdi Yamini. They had all gone to Europe to create this tour that I think that he helped create today, in my humble opinion. But I remember when he was leaving, I had a fever at the airport. I hated it. I hated every minute of it. I was sick. I wanted to throw up because that was the first time he was going to be gone for a long period of time, like 3 to 6 months. It was just, it was unheard of. So I remember that. I remember hating it. But I remember it was like a journey too, I guess. You know, and everything has its destiny, you know, and that was his destiny. And
چند ساله که طرفدار بابام شدم، خیلی یه فن شدم. I love his music, I love his voice, I love که برم برنامه‌شو ببینم, I love که انرژی کراود رو ببینم، احساس بکنم. میدونم که برای بابام خیلی مهمه که وقتی که وارد سن میشه مردم دست میزنن و جیغ میزنن و ابی ابی میگن. میدونم بهش انرژی میده و خوشحالش میکنه و راحتش میکنه، چون همیشه یکم استیج فرایت داره. هنوز که هنوزه وقتی که میخواد برنامه اجرا بکنه استیج فرایت داره.
it's cool, you know, it's oh, there's dad, you know, but at the same time it's oh, there's dad. Dad, don't do this. Dad, stop talking. Dad, don't do this at the concert. Dad, get up. What are you doing on your knees? You know, I always say this about my dad. My dad has been supporting families since he was 15 years old. He's such a hard worker, and he's just always been supporting his families, plural, since he was a child, since he was a child, since he was a child.
خودمون درخت خونه نداریم، اگر هم داشتیم نمیتونیم چرا استفاده کنیم و درخت فرودگاه داریم استفاده کنیم.
And Merry Christmas.